She laughed. "You'll never find out who I cheated with." So I checked her phone while she slept. The sound wasn't loud, but it seemed to suck all the air out of the room, leaving a vacuum of pure, icy silence in its wake. It was a low, condescending chuckle that originated deep in her throat, a sound of pure, unadulterated contempt that echoed off the sleek, expensive Sub-Zero refrigerator and the marble countertops of a kitchen I now realized I'd never truly shared with her. We stood feet apart, a chasm of betrayal between us, the remnants of a dinner I'd cooked, her favorite, seared scallops with a lemon beurre blanc, growing cold on the plates between us. She had just admitted it, casually, over a glass of Pinot Grigio, as if confessing to a minor scheduling conflict. "Yes, I've been seeing someone else." The words were clinical, detached. But when I, my voice cracking with a pain I was ashamed of, demanded to know who, her entire demeanor shifted. The mask of indifference fell away, replaced by something far more sinister, gleeful cruelty. Her smirk was a vicious little slash of red lipstick. "Who?" she repeated, tilting her head as if I were a slow child. "Oh, you like that, wouldn't you? A name to torture yourself with, to obsess over." But no. She took a slow, deliberate sip of her wine, savoring her power. "That's my little victory. That's the one thing you don't get. You'll never, ever find out who it is." The laughter that followed was soft, melodic, and it felt like shards of glass being dragged across my soul. It was the laughter of someone who had already won, who held all the cards and enjoyed watching me squirm in absolute ignorance. This wasn't just an affair, it was a game to her, and she was the undisputed champion. With a final, dismissive glance, she placed her glass in the sink, turned on her heel, and glided upstairs to our bedroom, leaving me standing alone in the wreckage of our 10-year marriage, the mocking echo of her laughter still hanging in the air. I don't know how long I stood there. Minutes? An hour? Time had lost all meaning. The pain was a physical thing, a hot, tight ball of agony in my chest. But beneath it, something else was stirring. A coldness, a clarity. Her laughter hadn't broken me. It had forged something new inside me. Something hard and sharp and patient. The shattered, weeping husband was gone. In his place stood a detective, a hunter. Her victory speech had contained a fatal flaw: arrogance. She believed her secret was safe. She believed I was too weak, too broken, too decent to go looking for it. She was wrong. The house was silent, save for the low hum of the refrigerator. I moved through the darkness, a ghost in my own home, my footsteps making no sound on the plush runner that lined the stairs. I paused outside our bedroom door. It was slightly ajar, and I could hear the deep, regular rhythm of her breathing. She was asleep. Of course she was. She had unburdened herself, secured her victory, and now she could sleep the untroubled sleep of the truly self-absorbed. I pushed the door open just enough to slip inside. The room was lit by the faint blue glow of her phone, charging on her nightstand. It was a symbol of her entire life, sleek, expensive, and buzzing with secrets just beneath its glossy surface. I stood over her, watching the gentle rise and fall of her chest. There was no guilt on her face, no tension, just peaceful, smug oblivion. Gently, so gently, I reached down. I took her right hand, the one with the thumb she used for her phone's fingerprint sensor. It was limp and warm in mine. Her champagne glass was sticky. A faint residue remained on her thumb. I guided her thumb to the sensor on her phone. For a heart-stopping second, nothing happened. Then, with a soft click, the screen lit up, and the lock screen, a picture of us from a happier time, a cruel joke, dissolved away. Her digital soul was mine. My heart wasn't hammering with panic. It was beating a slow, steady, purposeful rhythm. I didn't go for the obvious places.
I didn't open her text messages or her call log. She was too clever for that. I went to the utility folder, the one she thought was hidden, and found the calculator app that wasn't a calculator app. A passcode was required. I tried her birthday. Denied. I tried the date of our anniversary. Denied. I took a breath and tried the date of the day she admitted the affair, the day she claimed it started.
The app unlocked, revealing a trove of encrypted messages with a contact saved simply as X. My blood ran cold. This was it, the proof. But it wasn't just text. It was photos. Intimate, graphic photos taken in places I recognized instantly. My favorite armchair, the shower we'd picked out together, the beach from our last vacation. And then I found the videos. My thumb hovered over one, its thumbnail a blur of skin and familiar sheets. I pressed play, the volume on mute. The video was shaky, handheld. It was shot in our bed. The date stamp in the corner made my stomach lurch. It was from the evening of my birthday. In the video, she was whispering to the camera, to him, laughing. The camera panned across the room, and there, on the dresser, was the untouched slice of birthday cake I'd left on a plate for later, after I'd spent 2 hours downstairs cooking the elaborate dinner she'd requested. She'd filmed this for her lover, while I was downstairs meticulously preparing a meal for us. The betrayal was so profound, so calculated, it felt like a physical blow to the gut. I had to brace myself against the nightstand. I thought that was the bottom. I thought discovering the depth of her cruelty was the final worst revelation. I was wrong. As I navigated out of the secret app, something else caught my eye. A different messaging app, one she used for family. There was a thread with my younger brother, Liam. I almost didn't open it. What could be worse than what I'd already seen? But a cold dread propelled me forward. The messages started out normally. Mundane plans for a family barbecue. Then, they shifted. The tone became conspiratorial. My wife's messages. He's getting more suspicious. We need to move faster with the plan. Liam's reply. Just keep pushing him. Isolate him. The more unstable he seems, the easier it will be. The plan. They had a plan. I scrolled up, my hands now trembling so violently I almost dropped the phone. The messages laid it all out, in chilling detail. They weren't just having an affair. They were plotting to destroy me completely. The affair was just a tool, a way to destabilize me emotionally. Their real goal was my company, the tech startup I'd built from nothing, which was on the verge of a massive, lucrative buyout. Their plot was to gaslight me, to make me doubt my own sanity, to engineer a very public breakdown. Then she, as my devastated wife, and he, as my concerned brother, would have me committed for a psychiatric evaluation. Once I was declared mentally incompetent, they would gain control of my shares, push through the buyout, and walk away with everything, leaving me in an institution, my reputation in tatters. The room seemed to tilt on its axis. The woman sleeping beside me wasn't just a cheater. She was a monster. And my own brother, the boy I'd taught to ride a bike, the man I'd bailed out of debt last year, was her co-conspirator. This was a level of evil I had not known existed. The initial pain of the affair was now a distant memory, replaced by a roaring, glacial fury. I didn't wake her, I didn't scream, I didn't throw the phone against the wall. That was what the old me, the emotional, broken me would have done. The new me was ice. The new me was strategy. I took my own phone out. Silently, methodically, I began documenting everything. I took screenshots of every vile message, every photo, every frame of the video. I recorded my screen as I scrolled through their entire conspiracy. I connected her phone to a cloud drive I controlled and downloaded every incriminating file. I was an archivist of my own betrayal, collecting evidence with the dispassionate focus of a surgeon. When I was certain I had it all, every digital scrap,
I carefully placed her phone back on the charger exactly as I'd found it. She hadn't stirred once. I walked to my closet and pulled out one old backpack. I didn't pack sentiment. I packed a passport, some cash, a change of clothes, and the external hard drive containing the entire digital nuclear arsenal I'd just acquired. I walked out of the bedroom, down the stairs, and through the kitchen where her laughter still seemed to echo. I didn't look back. As I closed the front door of the house that was no longer my home with a soft final click, I opened my email. I attached the files to 3 pre-drafted messages, one to my ruthless, brilliant lawyer, one to every single member of my board of directors, and the third, with a particularly deep sense of satisfaction, to my sister-in-law, Liam's wife, a woman I knew had her own suspicions and access to all their joint assets. I hit send on all 3. Then I turned off my phone, got into my car, and drove away into the night. I didn't need to see the aftermath to know what was happening. In the silent, dark bedroom, her phone would have begun to vibrate, then ring, then light up with a relentless barrage of notifications. First, a confused text from Liam. Then a frantic call from her own lawyer. Then the horrified messages from her friends who were on the board. Her perfect, smug world was detonating in real time on her nightstand. My revenge wasn't a dramatic confrontation. It was a silent, surgical, total annihilation. She had laughed, certain I would never find out her secret, but I had. I'd found out everything. And now she and my brother had nothing. No company, no money, no reputations, and no allies. The joke, it turned out, was ultimately on them.